You may be focused on whatever is happening in your life because things are difficult, things are challenging sometimes. And so if we begin to teach and learn and understand how to grab hold of somebody's individual experience and then understand that as being serious and something that you can fight for, something that you are willing to put yourself at risk even sometimes for, to stand up for, then we can make a difference in society. But I'll tell you that the personal is political is so challenging because in 2021, so many problems exist. People are going through so many things that it really becomes difficult to focus on something that may be negative. There's so much happening that it becomes difficult to focus on what is negative. And so I'm going to try to find a way for us to unify ourselves by looking at a theory called symbolic interactionism. We're going to unify ourselves through our stories, but our stories are going to be positive, right? Because they're going to focus on things that we love to do and things that are amazing. And by doing this, we will show each other how we can become attached to somebody else's empowerment story. And maybe that will give us the energy to meet each other, to begin to know each other, to form better relationships with one another. And by doing that, then we can come together as a team to then address the personal as political. Does this make sense for everybody? So we're going to try to unite from the inside with positive so that we create teams and we can come together and try to fight and address some things that are very important. So sometimes we have to start inside and build that and connect with other people before we can even see the things that are more challenging. But just like ants, you know, if we come together, we can lift so much, we can do so much. And so that's what we're going to do today. Are you ready? You think you're ready? Okay, you can give me a thumbs up. We can learn how to use Zoom a little bit. There's some reactions or whatever. You can give me a little thumbs up if you feel like you might be ready for what we're going to do. Now, the thing is that we also embedded in this creative workshop a couple skills that we might want to work on. And so first, we're going to get jazzy. We're going to get a little classy in Zoom. So we're going to learn some skill sets in Zoom. So Kate's going to take over and add some IT for us. So of course, if we're going to tell our stories and be involved, we have to look good in Zoom. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, right, with you again. And then Kate's going to give us a couple tips on how you can enhance your appearance in Zoom. Okay.
Yes. So how to look pretty, how to be Zoom pretty and improve your Zoom appearance. Zoom is so ubiquitous for everyone right now, whether you're a professor, instructor, teacher, student. It is what we do and it is how we are communicating right now. And so there are some basic conventions and very easy conventions to keep in mind. And you may know some of these already, but if you put these all together, your presentation on Zoom will be that much better for you to deliver your message. So let's go ahead and go to the first slide. Okay, the first thing we're going to talk about is Zoom framing. And basically, framing is how you are placed and where you are placed in your screen. So we all have this rectangle to deal with. And there are a couple of things to keep in mind when we're placing ourselves in that screen. And the first thing you want to keep in mind is if you don't have to work on your computer, if you're not actively using your computer keyboard, or if you're on a laptop, and this is mainly for laptops in particular, because a desktop tends to be at eye level, but you want to try to put your laptop just above eye level if that's possible. And so mine is on this cardboard box that's about this big. You might use a stack of books, whatever you have to bring that camera just slightly above eye level. The second thing you want to make sure you do is that you're not really close to the camera, that you have some space. And again, this is easier to do if you're not working on your computer. So if you're an active instructor, if you have to use your keyboard to do this, if you want to go all out, you might get a Bluetooth keyboard that could help you with your laptop if you are using a laptop. If you're on a desktop, again, the problem is not with framing, it's not as much because it tends to be eye level anyway. not too much headroom. So you want to make sure that your headroom is not like this. There's no reason ever, really, unless you're in the Sistine Chapel, to show the ceiling. So the headroom is just how much space do you have above the top of your head and the top of the screen. And this is true. You see this on TV when they do interviews. There's only so much headroom. So you really don't want that, but you want to just bring it down like this. And so the optimal view, what that last bullet point means is that when your monitor, again on a laptop, is straight up and down, that will help you have your best appearance in the screen. And so if you might want to sit on some books if you have to be taller, or maybe if you're really tall, maybe sit on a stool, whatever that is to get you at eye level and to get that headroom where it needs to be. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. So lighting's really tough. And what I would recommend first is for you, if possible, if you have a smartphone, is to find the brightest space wherever you are. And so you can tell, you just put your phone on selfie mode and go around wherever you are. If you're in your house or in your office, go to wherever that space is and try to find the brightest place where you can record, or where you can zoom from, so to speak. And that's going to be your best place to start out with, is to have the brightest spot. You want to make sure if it's all sort of the same, or once you find the brightest spot, put your light source right in front of you. And so I'm going to turn my screen. You will see that I have the snazzy round light right in front of me with some stuff in my hallway that I have to get rid of. But I have something called a ring light right in front of me. And I went all snazzy because I work remotely and I'm on Zoom a lot. But you can also take a lamp and take a desk lamp and take the lampshade off of the lamp and just place it right in front of you, because you want the light on your face. It's really important for people to be able to see your facial expressions, because that's another form of communication, to see your eyes. So put the light right in front of you. You want it to try to avoid light that is coming from the top or from the side. And so depending on the time of day, that may vary if you have a side light. But if you have a light in front of you, then you can also work with a light behind you, and that would fill in any shadows. You don't have to have that. The main light in front of you is the most important thing that you can do for lighting. Okay. The other thing, and you can see in the slide in front of you, is that we have the same woman in two different slides. And the first one, her face is so dark and you don't see her facial features because she is sitting in front of a window. And I know a lot of us have, we like to have our desk in front of a window, but if you could turn that around when you're zooming so that you're facing the window, you want your camera not to shoot into the light. And this is true for if you're taking a picture with your phone, or if you're, taking pictures, you also don't, you tend not to shoot into the light. So it's the same thing with your computer. Okay. And just put any questions, if you have any questions or comments, in the chat, and we'll take care of those if you have them. Okay. We'll go into the backgrounds. And the last thing to keep in mind is your Zoom background. What is behind you? And all the examples that you see, you want to make sure that you're, be welcoming. And all the examples that you see, their backgrounds are applicable to what their role is or to what their job is. It's pretty simple. Typically a set of bookshelves behind me. I'm just in front of a mantle, a fireplace mantle that I put a plant and some books, and it's just keep it simple and uncluttered. You want to try not to sit up against just a blank flat wall. You don't want it to look like you're in trouble and you're having a mug shot taken by any means, but where you're just up against a wall. It doesn't look natural. You want it to be a welcoming background, but something that's simple and uncluttered. And also make sure that you don't have anything sticking up. If you have anything behind you that's coming out of the top of your head, that could be distracting from your main message. And so those three things, framing, lighting, and background, can help you make your Zoom presentations even more sophisticated than they are now. And that's it.
Can we play around with the adjust the lighting and the touch up your appearance feature and the under the video link on the bottom?
Oh yeah.
Can we play a little bit with?
Sure. I've read about these. I haven't played with these features.
Let's see. So can everybody see? Can you see me? Can you all see the screen? You can see me on here. So I'm okay. I'm gonna just embarrass myself for a second. So if you look here, you can see like I have like some blemishes on my skin. I have like a couple pimples. I have some hair bumps up here or whatever. Well, if I use this touch up my appearance, they all disappear. And I can enhance my lighting in the room.
That's great.
So I can play around with this. And even if my room is dark, I can adjust this. You know, I can make it darker or I can make it lighter, you know. And even if, okay, Google, turn off office. Sorry, I'm high tech. Even if I turn off the light in the room, I can still make some adjustments with the light. So even if it's really dark naturally in the room, I can make some basic adjustments. So if you don't have a light behind you, of course I wasn't as bright as if I used Kate's suggestion and having a light behind me. I can still use this feature and I can play with the lighting through Zoom, through the actual app. Is everybody trying it? Did you give it a shot? Because you can play around with that.
And these are great options, and you should maybe try these in addition, whether you have lights or not, is to try these filters that Zoom includes for sure.
So fun stuff. So now let's get back to sociology. Thank you, Kate. Kate's gonna give us another tutorial on how to use Canva after we begin to talk more about empowerment. So I hope you learned something about, you know, being a little pretty in Zoom, because remember, when we tell our stories and when we communicate, you know, Zoom is this is what we're using. We're using video conferencing. So that's something that we can do. I want to talk to you a little bit about this image that is up here. So I asked you all in the announcement to think of 2 or 4 pictures or whatever of you doing something that you love, all right? And so this again is linked in with this idea, the personal is political times symbolic interactionism. So I'm looking at this picture now, and what I have is a collage of 4 images. And so this is what we're talking about, collaging. And so some of you use images or pictures. Some of you may have done scrapbooking, or you may just collect a photo album, or you may just have a series of pictures that mean something to you that are on your cell phone. What we're talking about here is messages and meaning in pictures, and how that can help us create an empowerment story. And so here I have an image of me providing a lecture to 200 students talking about social justice and identity during the Black Power movement. And so I know for me, being able to educate people about the history of my ancestors and my, you know, people within my race, that's something that I enjoy to do because I've been given the opportunity to do that. And so that means a lot to me to be able to do that and for people to listen and to respect that. I enjoy that. So that's something that that's a skill that I've been given, and then I'm able to show how I'm executing that skill. So think about this for yourself. Think about skills that you have or talents that you have, and maybe an image or a photo that would show you doing that. Another picture that I have here is me as a mom. And so I'm helping my daughter to build a slingshot because she said she wanted to be an engineer, and her school said, can you take a picture of something and bring it in? And she decided that she wanted to make it. So one day she decides, we're going to get up in the morning and you're going to go to Lowe's and I'm going to build a slingshot from scratch. It's due tomorrow, she says. Okay, so there's something about parenting and being able to jump and get something done and be the best mother that you can be. To me, that's something that is empowering to me, because I have friends who have a difficult time with parenting sometimes, or building these types of relationships. So to me, I know it's special to be able to have that type of relationship, and even to have the time. It's a blessing to be able to have the time to do something like that. It's a blessing to have the money to go out and buy something on the spot. So there's so many things that I think about in this story that I have to be grateful for, instead of being negative about it and saying, oh, I had all these things to do and now here she's coming at the last minute or whatever. I'm able to look at this situation and see the bright side of whatever it is, and able to embrace this role and this ability that I have here. The other image is, yeah, I love gardening. I love planting. It's one of my favorite things to do. If you know me, you will know that I am likely to be in my backyard digging a hole somewhere, not to jump in it. Sometimes I want to jump in the hole, but I'm digging the hole. And so the amazing thing about digging in this picture is that I'm planting something on my campus and at the university with a group of people who I really, really care about. So I'm able to take something that I'm passionate about, that I love to do, and I'm able to do it for a good cause. So I'm intersecting what I love with my job, and I'm doing it with my daughter. And so she'll end up seeing this plant and she'll know that she created something on campus. She was a part of the campus, actually. She planted a tree on campus. And so the last image is of with a group of young ladies. And my favorite thing to do is empower women. Like, that's what I'm about. Like, I love empowering women. I want to empower women all day, every day of my life. That's what I want to do. And so we're all excited about a group called Rising Love, and this idea that we have about social justice and creating change on the campus. And so what I'm telling you about this is my empowerment story. To me, these are a series of photos, all different elements of my life. And I'm putting these together as one story. And I want to share that story because, to me, hopefully, if somebody sees these things, they can say, okay, well, maybe this can inspire me. Maybe I can be inspired to do this. Maybe my story can mean something positive for someone. And so this is what I'm talking about us trying to do this evening. I'm talking about any level of it. Whether it is thinking about the images that you might use to create your empowerment story, whether it is being able to use Canva and to actually upload a series of pictures, taking these images the way I just did and using a pedagogy that I've created to create keywords and to think about the pictures that you have and to think about what your empowerment story actually means. So if you were to create an empowerment story for yourself, what would you tell somebody? What pictures would you use? And what would you say to say, look, I'm proud of what it is that I'm doing, and all of those things that I talked about, right? Right here. You can be in love with a moment, you can show that there's brilliance, that there's beauty, that there's power, there's the capacity to be brave. You know that you have something to be grateful for and about, and this is an opportunity for us to dance together. So we'll share those stories. Now, what I want us to do is I want us to put together these empowerment stories, and I want us to showcase our collective stories on the webpage to show that we are all empowered. And this means that we all have value, that we are all unique, that we all have a unique story, and that when you put them all together, all of these leaders here together, that means something, and that we are doing something collectively together, and we are preparing ourselves for our next adventure together. And the next time we do something, we're going to uplift someone. Does that make sense for everybody? So we're going to start from the ground up. So think about this. So thinking about the images that you might choose, think about moving some person, an individual, from disempowered to I can do this. And sometimes all it is that an individual needs to see is someone who looks like them, right? Or someone from their background being able or being capable of actually doing something. Or it is this idea that they never thought, oh, I didn't realize this little thing that I do that, that it's actually inspiring, or that is something valuable or important. Because one person, like this, for instance, in this picture here, I believe I see a young woman just reading to her child. Now, somebody may think, well, I read every day. That's just that's a part of my responsibility. But they don't understand what it means to nurture a child, to educate a child, to take the time and to share words and to build, to build their knowledge, to build their ability and capacity to understand different things in the world. So what another person who's working with us comes up with as a part of their empowerment story, it can actually uplift you and have you thinking, oh my goodness, I do that too. I never thought about it in that way. And so we're going to be uplifting each other as well. There are different things that we do for our communities. All of these things, we can see how they stir up emotions. So this idea here that we have with the empowerment stories is not necessarily about you. It's also about uplifting somebody else who's on this call right now. Does that make sense for everybody? So we should be able to do a lot of things here. So I guess what I'm saying by that is a lot of times people have asked me, oh, can you talk about this about yourself or that about yourself because of this job you have or something like that. People have asked me to self-promote. So it's not as difficult for me to say, okay, this is my empowerment story because people have asked me to do it. But for you, it may be a little bit difficult because maybe people haven't asked you to kind of look in yourself and find something unique. So don't do it only for yourself. Do it for somebody else also. Does that make sense? All right. So I want you to take a few moments and I want you to think about, or look through your phones or your devices if you feel like it, and think about maybe 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 pictures that you might consider, as a part of your empowerment story, right? And I guess something that you could do, perhaps you could copy the pictures and text them to yourself so that all of those pictures would be together or something like that, just for now. But Kate is going to show you how to use Canva. She's going to show you how to download that app and perhaps use it. But what I really want us to think about right now are just the images. And so you may not have that image in front of you. Maybe you have an image in mind. The image is somewhere, you know where it is and you kind of know what it is. But if you can't reach the image right now, right at that moment, at this moment, that's okay. I want you to at least think about it. And so just be thinking about what the images are that you would use, because I'm going to show you how we dissect our photo, to create our empowerment story. So how about you take maybe 5 minutes? Is that enough time to think about some images or to maybe look through and see what images you may be able to find? In the meantime, those of you who already have images, perhaps you can look for the Canva app on your phone. It is a free app to download. It's called Canva. So I'm going to just put that up there right now. So for those of you who already have pictures, but I want to give you time to think. I wish I had some Jeopardy music. That might be too much pressure. And for those of you who logged on after the introduction, my name is Dr. Shaquita Howard Bostic, and Kate is here.
I'm Kate Huff.
Yes, Kate Huff is here. Yep. And we are talking to you about symbolic interactionism and the personal is political. And we are talking about using an app called Canva in order to create a picture collage. And I'm going to talk to you about how you can dissect the picture to come up with themes to create an empowerment story. And what our goal is, in a week or so, when you have time, for you to email me your collage and just a brief little snippet about what you believe your empowerment story is, maybe 3 sentences or something about your empowerment story. When you present your empowerment story, you could provide just a couple keywords. I'll tell you 3 different things that you can do when you submit your collage, but we're going to put all of those things together and create one family collage, a story, an empowerment story to share with the Shepherd community. So you all can talk to me in the chat. You can kind of let me know, where you are or what you're doing. I'm going to give, 2 more minutes for us to begin just to think about our stories. And remember, with your empowerment story, you don't have to come up with that story tonight. I will ask those people who have an image or so for us to talk a little bit about the image that you have, and just kind of communicate about what we find. And that's what we'll do. All right. There's a question, are the Zoom picture adjustments only available on the desktop or the laptop? It may be the case that that they are available on, is anybody else using a mobile device? You know, every mobile device is different. Like sometimes if you have an iPhone versus a not iPhone. Rob Anthony doesn't like the iPhone, right? Where's he at? So yeah. Oh, also it may depend on the type of account that you have, but I've worked on a number of different accounts. Raise your hand here or something if you're able to click on and adjust your video settings or your lighting. I see here. Yeah. Some are able to do it. Yes. Okay. Very cool. All right. So I'm going to Kate, would you like to talk about the Canva a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. Okay. How many of you have used Canva before or have heard of Canva? Put it in the chat, or but it's a popular app, and I've used it for my computer, and I just downloaded the app to prepare for this workshop. But Canva makes everyone a great graphic designer. I see some nevers. I think I used it once before. I use it often. I love it. Yeah, thanks for these in the chat. This is great. If you haven't used Canva or you've never heard of it, it will be your best friend, because it makes any type of communication that you need, it makes it look polished and professional, and it's all in a matter of templates, and you can personalize them for yourselves. And so you download the free app. There's a premium version that gives you extra pictures and maybe some extra fonts and some extra templates, but really the free app is the best. And you download the Canva app to your phone, and then once you're in that, you'll see a welcome screen. First, the icon is in the first photo. It's a C. And then the second photo, once you download it and open it and any credentials that it requires, you'll see a creative design screen. And if you scroll over in that first roll, you scroll horizontally, and there's something called a photo collage, and they give you different templates for a photo collage. And you see those templates in the third photo there. There are all kinds of templates, or you could just start with a blank screen. And you just click on one of those, you choose one. And once you choose a template, which is in the fourth picture there, you will see a plus at the bottom of your screen. And that plus sign will open up your phone, and you'll be able to choose your camera roll or whatever it is, which you see in the fourth photo there. And so it's really just point and click and add your photos from the photo roll on your phone, and then you can create your own collage and move things around. The pictures that you see in the templates already, you can just select each one and delete them in that particular screen. It is very user-friendly, very visual, and you shouldn't have any problems using it. So it's great for photo collages. It's also great for flyers. You can create websites, posters, any type of social media post. It's all on Canva. So I highly recommend it. You'll use it for anything that you need to do when you have to communicate with your colleagues or with students.
All right, thank you. So, okay, so now I'm going to go back here, and we're going to talk about how to use our meaning, developing meaning in our photos and creating our empowerment stories, okay? And so there are 3 different strategies that we can use. We can use them all together. We can just pick one. You can use 2 of the strategies, but these are 3 different ways to pull meaning out of the photo. So I've divided this photo here into quadrants, and I've done it by picture. But you could also do it by the corner of the, it doesn't have to be by image. It can be, different areas of the actual collage, because maybe it's something in particular that you want to focus on with your picture. So I guess maybe we can do it. We can do this together. Is everybody up for it? You can do it together by speaking, communicating with us, or you can write it in the chat. So for number 1, we're going to study each quadrant. We see number 1 is in yellow. Number 2 is in red or orangish red. Number 3 is in green. And then number 4 is in blue. And so I want you to kind of read the story by telling me what comes to mind. So for number 1, what comes to mind when you look at it? So I see things on the chalkboard. I see certain movement of my body. I see other people in the room. What are some things that you think about when you see this photo? Interaction, education, leadership, teaching and leading, joy with your job, engagement, passion, communication, engaging students in learning. I see knowledge, attention, energy, leadership again, interaction, sharing. So this is great. So think about this. So when you break down your picture, it doesn't have to be, something like you're just saying, oh, I see somebody teaching. Think a little bit deeper, about kind of what you see, and then do that with each quadrant. Teaching, interaction, yes. So do that with each quadrant. So let's do it with quadrant number 2. What is it that we see? And you all can talk if you like. You can use the chat, but you can also communicate. It's okay. Love. Oh, love, happiness, closeness, love, relationships, caring, joy, warmth, strong bonds, right? Togetherness, joy, affection, family, bonding, love, support, laughter. Yes. So let's stop for a second. You don't have to stop in the chat, but I'm going to pull this chat over here for a second. And so here, think about it like this. So as I'm developing the empowerment story, I'm going to merge and incorporate the words, the meaning, the understanding from all of the photos and merge it together. So far, my empowerment story has something to do with joy with my job, teaching and leading, professionalism, energy, but it's also about closeness and love and relationships, caring, joy, strong bonds. So do you see how the empowerment story is developing? You see how it develops? And so you don't have to use the literal understanding of what you see in the picture. You can think about meaning, and you can see kind of what you pull from that meaning. And when we put all of those things together, you know what? Let's do number 3. Let's keep going. Let's break down quadrant number 3. What do we see here? What do we see when we're looking at number 3? This is cheese, number 3.
Collaboration.
Activism. Collaboration. Thank you, Ms. Wright. Collaboration, activism, empowerment. What else do we see for number 3? Fun. Yes. Student empowerment, for sure. Pride, community, accomplishment. Definitely. Change, absolutely. Change making. So, and also, when you're looking at the quadrant, you know what I mean? You can look at words that you see. You can look at items. You can look at different colors and things like that. You can really chime in on different features of unity, diversity. Absolutely. Let's talk about number 4. Let's move to number 4 here. I see a lot of hair. That was a lot of hair in that hairstyle. Anyway, number four, what do you see at number four? What do we see here as a part of our empowerment story? Modeling, yes. Gardening, that is what's happening. Hard work, yes, hard work, determination, giving back, sharing, giving back. Caring, nature, love, yes, absolutely. Focus, meaning, drive. So as we think about this quadrant model, so this is one way of really kind of taking a stab at trying to talk about what this empowerment story is. Now, for just a moment, I want to explain to you what symbolic interactionism is all about. So symbolic interactionism is all about this idea of really understanding how individuals interact with one another. It's about looking at how the world can shape someone's behavior. It's about, understanding how society is preserved or created by repetition, creative action happening over and over again. And there's a process that occurs. So think about what this empowerment story is all about if we're looking at it from a symbolic interactionist perspective. Because what we're talking about here is we're talking about utilizing positive experiences, the same as the personal is political, but we're talking about all of these terms that we have here: meaning, giving back, life, focus, nature, love, determination, and then diversity, unity, engagement, girl power, change, creativity, happiness, silliness, togetherness, activism, teamwork, laughter, bonding. We're talking about this. This is what you see. And so this meaning right here, when we create our empowerment story, this is what we're sharing with somebody else. And so I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't know that I would have come up with all of this stuff for this picture that I have here. But the idea, by putting this picture together, you understand that some people see your picture and they see so much more than you might see yourself. They see so much more. So your meaning to the world is probably so much greater. And it's such a greater contribution than maybe you might even believe for yourself. Make sense? All right. So now, what we have here, to me, are details. So the second way to look at the picture, it could be just in the details alone. So just in the details. So now I want you to, for number two, take a close look at one thing in the picture and tell me what that one thing means. So for example, I'll tell you number one, me being up in front of that room in that classroom, there were probably 3 African-American people in that classroom at that time with me at the university that I was at, which was Georgia College, okay? And I remember a young girl coming to me and saying that this was her first time in her entire life that she had ever been taught by a Black woman, that it was the first time that she had ever been taught by a Black woman. So myself up there, giving everything that I had, to communicate with her, that's the meaning that I would want to become visible, that I felt important. I felt important up there educating and providing that information. That was a special type of meaning for me, So when you look at your pictures, you can focus on something in particular. You can focus on something particular, some type of detail that provides meaning. Now, this second picture for me, my daughter hates selfies. There are so many of my friends that have you, just do a selfie, let's take pictures. At this point, this little girl never wants to take another picture again in her life because we're always asking to take pictures. And this baby got in this picture and she smiled. She was so happy. She smiled for this picture. And she said, let's take another one from another angle. Let's take another one, And And so for my baby to cooperate with the photo taking, that was a big mom moment for me. That was and so that connection that someone mentioned, that bond or whatever, that bond with her was strengthened on that day, and I knew that as a mother, I had connected with her by doing something with her that was very important to her. So again, if you look at each quadrant and you come up with a key word, that's one thing. But if you look at details and the actual meaning of the photo, that's another way that you can tell your empowerment story. Does that make sense for everybody? So as you're looking at your picture or detailing your picture, you can think about that. So then last, what is your overall impression of the collage image? And so the reason why I really enjoyed this experience of coming up with keywords and thinking about each quadrant and then talking about the detail is because I can look at those things and then really step back and say, okay, what is this story really about? What is this all about? What does this mean? How is this valuable or whatever? And then I would take time to try to dissect that and write that out. So this is what we're going to try to do a little bit of, if we can. So do you all think that that maybe you might want to talk about one of your pictures? Maybe you might want to describe something about your picture, and we can spend some time doing that. Can I get at least a private chat from any members here now who think you might want to discuss or to talk about something about an image that you have? Can you tell me who you are if you'd like to communicate with? So I'm trying to see how many messages. Yes, okay. Who else? Anyone else would you like to communicate? Or as you hear someone else talking about an image, might you put in the chat that you will talk a little bit about whatever the image is? And if you don't have the image to share or whatever, you can just talk to us about it. You can utilize one of the techniques that we used in order to kind of talk to us about the image that you have. All right, Ms. Wright, do you want to talk a little bit to us? Maybe you can tell us whether you would use keywords or whatever you would use to describe your image.
I think I will probably use keywords similar to what you did. As you were talking, I thought we were going to look through some pictures. So I went through my work drive, of course, and found some pictures. I'm an educator. So obviously most of the pictures are aligned with things that I've done around work. And surprisingly, while they're so similar, they all kind of have different keywords or actions that motivate me. So I kind of built a little collage while you were talking. I thought we were going to have to,
Because I want you to.
Okay. I thought
Yes, they're always overachievers, and I can depend on them. I depend on you all. I depend on you to be here for us. Yes.
Okay. So most of my pictures include students, or I have an organizational chart. I have some colleagues, because some of the things that motivate me are the students, of course, sharing with them and empowering them. I think empowering students, really, I thrive on that. My organizational chart would have just been organization, because I am empowered when things are organized, not just, papers or files, but also events and, the schedule, things like that. And then leadership is another thing that empowers me to help build the capacity of my colleagues. And so that's why the picture of my colleague here is what I shared as well. So those are some of the things that empower me.
You know what I love? I love that you aren't in some of the pictures.
I'm actually, I don't think I'm in any of them, as a matter.
That is really amazing.
I can share it, but I don't think I'm in any of them. Because
absolutely. Let me give some ability to share the screen. Okay. We're ready. Are you able to share?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I just did it on a Google slide because that was the quickest thing for me to pull in. So this was a picture. I'm sure I was at a workshop but it's the organizational of the chart. So that represented organization for me. This is some students at a banquet. I do experiential learning. And at the end of the year, this was kind of an accomplishment for the student. We went through the whole 9. And so this kind of exemplifies some of the things, the hard skills, the soft skills, I'm sorry, that they were taught: dressing. This was an after school program where students were hesitant to really get engaged. And we had a scavenger hunt for Read Across America. And I was really excited on this particular day because you saw the students taking ownership of what they were doing. And I bake, so that motivates people and empowers me too when people like my baking. So I put that there, obviously. And here are some other students presenting. And then this is the one of my colleague that I like to kind of share. I like building capacity in my colleagues that they can then, of course, affect more students. And so that's what I did. That's it.
I love that. All right. Let me see. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. So keep in mind, so here is really interesting. So it doesn't have to be a picture of you. It can be a picture of anything that is valuable or important to you, anything that helps you to tell your story. Does anyone else just want to talk for a second about a picture, and maybe how you would dissect that picture, just to encourage someone else to dissect an image? Let me get myself off of the spotlight here. Here we go. Got everybody in the gallery view. All right, so let me ask this question. How many people think they might be interested in creating a collage and adding it to our wonderful list of images? Go ahead and give me a reaction. Yes, I see Hannah. Yes. Rebecca is interested. Yes, thank you. Annie, Laura, yes. If I can find some pictures, absolutely. And keep in mind, you don't have to be in the picture, right? It can be an image of anything that is valuable or important to you. Absolutely. Thank you. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the series of workshops that we're going to have coming up, so that we can understand this full picture and what it is that we're trying to do. So we're going to have, today we had images, and we're looking at and understanding images to create an empowerment story. On Tuesday, we're going to have Wendy Baraka, and we're going to talk about mindfulness, and we're going to talk about stress relief, and we're going to talk about, focus and really empowering yourself and getting yourself where you need to be to a certain calm, so that you can be your very best you. And so this week in particular, we're focused on looking at and understanding those dynamics, understanding these strengths, understanding different qualities, understanding the beauty in ourselves, and really what we have to offer, what we have to share. So as you're thinking about different images that you would select for something like this, I would want you to really think about, what it is that you contribute. What do you do on a daily basis? How are you impacting the world? Because, I think everybody here has something to offer. Everybody here has something amazing that they give every day. Sometimes I think we're just a little too humble, and we don't want to admit that, I am a part of this active team that is out here working and contributing amazing things and knowledge. I see people on here right now. I would love to see a picture of you and dissect it. My amazing friend Ruth Conley is on here, and she is the smartest person I know. And so I know that she has some amazing stories that she can tell with images of her teaching and educating so many students. I just want you to think about what it is that you bring to the table, and just how amazing you can be and what you share, because this is our inclusivity team. You all on here, everybody who's on here right now, you are the leaders of the future. You are going to be the change makers, the people who are making a difference. And I want them to see something, even if it's just 2 images, something valuable, because we need to inspire the people around us. We need to uplift them. I'm going to tell you, I get phone calls. I've gotten 7 phone calls today from students that I need to empower and uplift and get ready for the next hour or whatever it is that they have to do. People are going through so much right now, right? And so one of the reasons why I asked you to be on here right now was so that you can think about your empowerment story, so that we can have just another tool to uplift people who need you right now. They need to know that something positive is happening, something amazing is happening, that people are still moving, that people haven't given up, that times are not so difficult that you just stop where you are right now. We need to understand the value of teamwork and the value of giving something to that, right? So let's think about those images and let's think about how that makes sense, all right? So something else that I want you to think about, right, is the dialogue. And so this is kind of what I want us to talk about this evening. I want us to talk together. I want people to talk together. I would like us to talk together with the unmuting, right? I would like people to communicate. I want us to talk about who we believe our audience is. So all the people are here right now. I'm ready to communicate a little bit. And I see I can show a picture. You want to show a picture right now, Eva? You ready? I'm ready. Eva wants to show a picture. Do you want to show it in a few seconds or now? Sure, okay, all right. Now, Eva, do you want us to work on the picture or do you want to work on the picture? Do you want us to practice? I'm reading the chat.
Sorry, hang on.
No, it's okay.
Sorry, I'm managing multiple windows. Hang on, sorry.
No problem. Yeah.
Well, it's if that fits in the discussion, we can, or I can do it later because you were asking for people to show pictures. So I'm wondering.
No. Yes, go ahead. Do what you're comfortable doing. It's good.
So I can show a picture about it. Can I share?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay.
Is it allowing you to? Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so leaving aside the comments, you were saying looking for pictures of action. I was looking through my pictures, and I may not be the only person who has this issue. I don't really take pictures of myself teaching. So I may, for this project, I may have to look at my husband's pictures, but this is actually me trying to use cement. So I guess you could say it shows I'm willing to try things. It didn't really turn out that well, but you don't need to tell people that.
I think it looks like artwork. I think it looks abstract, and I think it looks great. I like your cement. You can come help me do some cement in my house.
Well, maybe you don't want that.
So can we have the team to talk a little bit about what they see in the picture in the chat? Would you mind that?
No.
Let's see. So everyone, if we were to provide keywords, and we are going to show Eva's picture now again, what are the keywords that you would use to dissect looking at this image of her engaging this creation with the cement? Try something new, do it yourself, accomplishment, bravery, effort, hard work, determined, builder, challenge. So, I mean, what is interesting to me is when Eva spoke about her experience, she said things like, oh, I was trying something new or whatever. When somebody else, self-reliant, creative, when somebody else sees your picture, they may see so much more than what it is that you see. And so this is why images are so important, because they tell stories. They tell amazing stories, and they help, they can help people. I mean, I looked at that picture of you doing the cement, and I said to myself, oh, I might need to get out here and cement something outside. You know, I can do it. You know, my good friend can do this. I think I'm going to get out here and give this a shot. I'm going to try to do it also. So think about that. You know, that's very important. All right, let's try to have a conversation with one another here. I'm going to share this screen and I want us to talk a little bit. So I want us to talk a little bit about, you know, perhaps who our audience would be. So you may have identified a picture or a couple pictures. Who do you think you would be talking to? So who is your audience when you engage a picture? Who do you think you can inspire? Yes, it may also motivate them to try something new. Absolutely. So tell me in the chat or out loud. Rebecca, yes.
Colleagues.
Who's talking? Say it again.
Colleagues.
Your colleagues, you would motivate your colleagues. Absolutely. Your peers, students. How many people how many people think your audiences are students? And do you have a unique audience? Do you have a unique audience that maybe somebody else may not have? Who thinks they have a unique, whoever is looking? Absolutely, Ruth. And I was getting to that, right? One important thing that I've learned is that you never know who's paying attention. There's a story that I love to share. It's about one of my amazing friends from grad school. And so this buddy of mine, she was in a class, and this was in her undergraduate experience. And I guess she was just being herself. You know, she would talk, she would answer questions or whatever. And so when she was graduating from her PhD program, she had to do a job interview. And so this job interview was at a very prestigious university. It was at a very prestigious university, and they had to pick the candidate. So there were two candidates, and they were very close. And so she ended up getting this job. And so this job allowed her to earn over $100,000 a year, graduating with her PhD at age 24. And so once she got the job, she found out who was on the search committee. And the guy said to her, "You may not remember me. I was in this class in undergrad. And what I remembered about you is that you were always so kind and so helpful. And whenever you said something, it was very meaningful. And I really appreciated that." She didn't remember this person from a can of paint. She did not know who this person was, but they had remembered something that she had done 7 years prior. You never, ever know who your audience is. You never know who's watching. You never know who you're influencing. So thank you so much, Ruth, for that. Whoever is watching, that's your audience. It's a group of people who you think are watching, but they're also the team of people who are just paying attention, who you may not know are people who are being encouraged or influenced by your very amazing story. So adult students, Vanessa says, and I have students with intellectual disabilities. Absolutely. Thank you, Conrad. Definitely. So now, what type of empowerment idea do you think that you may try to promote or engage? So at first glance, you know, what types of ideas do you think you would want to relay with an image? So how do you want to use your story to empower someone? You want to get someone, Vanessa wants to get someone to believe in themselves and to believe that they can actually achieve their goal. What else? What do you think you want to do? You want to inspire someone. How, Rebecca? How do you want to inspire someone? What do you think you might do to inspire them? So empower, consider possibilities. Ruth says she wants people to consider the possibilities of what they can possibly achieve. So Ms. Wright wants people to build capacity and self-esteem. So I want you to, so right now we're saying that we can use pictures to inspire people. We can consider have them consider a variety of possibilities. We can build their capacity, their esteem. We can show someone how to achieve, show someone how to win, right? Oh, I love this. Hannah says, one bad memory won't outweigh millions of happy memories. Let me tell you something. There are so many times that perhaps you can have something bad happen to you in the day, and it can just strip your joy. It can strip your joy. But maybe even if you look back at the collage yourself, maybe you can lift yourself up too. So maybe this empowerment story is not only for other people, but it's also for you to understand that one bad moment in the day is not going to take away your joy or steal your joy. Eva says she wants somebody to go beyond what they know, move beyond what they know, engage new information. Rebecca says that she wants to show how she can do it to make them believe in themselves. So sometimes if you see somebody else doing something, they can feel inspired to do it. Marcia says, you may not always be successful the first time. So you keep trying, you keep going, you keep empowering yourself, and you can absolutely do it. Does anybody have a picture that you might want to allow us to look at?
I actually have my collage done.
I want to
I did
see
it
it.
last night.
Let's see, Hannah, can we see it? We're ready.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Empower us.
see if I can find it. Oh,
In the meantime, we have don't let your fears control you. These are all very empowering messages. Oh my goodness, while Hannah is looking that up, I want to just do a rewind. I want to do a replay. I'm going to tell you this story about inspiring you today. So here we go. Believe in yourself and understand that you can achieve your goals. You can be inspired by the people who are here. You can also inspire yourself. Please consider the possibilities. There's not one way to look at things. There's more than one way to look at it, you know? There's always another way that you can achieve your goal. Don't quit. Don't give up. Feel empowered. You are strong. You are brave. You can do it. Build capacity. Every day, try to learn something new. If you can't learn something new today, learn something new tomorrow. So don't give up. Just keep trying. You are beautiful. You need to understand that that is a reality. Some people compare themselves to other people and lower themselves on the ladder. Don't do that. You are amazing. You can achieve. You can do it. One bad memory won't outweigh millions of happy memories. One bad day is not going to stop your show. You can continue to move forward. You can do it. Are you ready, Hannah? I just had to pull that back because there were so many things that just happened in that chat that I needed to re-visualize that narrative for everybody because that was very uplifting. All right, Hannah's coming in from the computer.
we just love
Or the
technical
phone.
difficulties.
It's all good. We're right here with you. We've got some more messages here. You are never too old to learn. And also be empathetic. I love that. So Hannah, would you like us to navigate through your collage a little bit as a community, as a team? Is everybody ready to do that? To engage Hannah's collage? I would love for us to do that. Let's try to help Hannah to build her empowerment story. Let's quadrant out this this experience here. Let's start with the first picture in the upper left-hand corner. What is it that we all see? What are some key words to help us describe what we see there? Friendship, friends, sisterhood, unity, caring, safety. Collaboration, community. Camaraderie, happiness. Technology. Comfortability, absolutely. Let's think about the picture, the Zoom picture on the right. What do we get?
I think
from
you
that?
are actually in that one, in that Zoom.
I am?
I think, I don't know if you're on that screen, but I think that's one of the ones you were in.
This looks like a group of people that I want to be around. I see these names here. I want to jump in that meeting when we get off here. That's a good group of people. What do we see here? Teamwork, networking, adapting, new age, networking, professional development. I see talent, technology, the modern Brady family. Absolutely. We have one of those right here. Laura says, Hannah was a student of mine. Uh-oh, we have a teacher here. Adapting, education, connection, compassion. What about this picture on the lower left here? The lower left on the bottom. What do we see here? Oh my goodness, fun. Silly, fun, togetherness, more fun. Oh my goodness, I see trust. Unity, sisterhood. Proud to be Hannah Brown. Goofiness, support, and trust, absolutely. Smiles, yes. Definitely. Heart smiles. And what about this last picture? On the right, on the bottom right.
On the bottom right. So
Mhm.
that was last April, I think this day last year, when the pandemic was first starting to hit. And this was before masks were mandatory, but I live with someone who is very, very high risk. So I was wearing a mask to work every day. Before I would enter the house, I would strip down and put my uniform immediately in the washer. And my mom had taken this photo of me, and it was just a photo she posted on Facebook to say like how proud she was of me, because at this point for grocery store workers, it was terrifying. We were getting cussed out, spit on. We had people going into our back room and threatening us because we didn't have toilet paper or hand sanitizer. Part of my job at that point was to deal with the trucks, and I was getting threatened because I couldn't tell people when trucks were coming in. And this photo was at the very end of my shift, and I was just so excited to go home. I had my boyfriend waiting for me in the parking lot. We're long distance, so he was here for quite a few weeks. And I was just so exhausted and happy and ready to go home and cuddle up with some puppies and eat cookies.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. Hannah, I want to share my screen so that I can show you all of the comments about your empowerment story. So I'm going to share my screen here.
I actually think I can see him. I am sorry, I don't know who the former teacher was.
Where is she?
I don't know who Laura is.
Where is she? Laura, where are you?
Hi, Hannah, it's Miss Calabrese, your AP bio teacher.
I love that. So let me
Those
see
pictures
here.
are a great reflection of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's so wonderful. I love that. That makes me excited. That reminds me of I had refused to use Facebook forever, for a really long time. I was like, I'm never get on Facebook. And I think it was just because people wanted me to get on Facebook and I was just being stubborn, you know? And so one day I just decided, okay, I'm going to join Facebook. And the day that I joined Facebook, my teachers friended me. My teachers, like my fourth grade teacher, my eighth grade teacher, high school teachers. And I was so excited I was so excited for them to see me now and to be able to say hello to them and to be able to thank them for the knowledge that they had provided for me and the modeling that they were able to share and to offer. So to be able to be in the same room right now, even though it's a Zoom room with your teacher, that's so cool. I love that. That's wonderful. Well, I guess I'll just talk about, so here, Hannah, this is how empowering you are. You are able to adapt. You provide education. You are involved in a circle of trust where there's silliness and fun and togetherness and sisterhood and unity. I see hearts smiling and love, but at the same time, resilience and being ready and prepared and able to survive, being safe while caring for each other, being brave, being essential, and following directions, and too cute. I think that's an amazing empowerment story. Does anybody else want to share a picture or even to talk about a little bit about something that you discovered from one of your images that you had? Anybody else brave? And it's okay if you're not ready to do it now. But I'm just excited about this opportunity. Hi, Sister Cheryl. I see you on here. I see you. Hello.
So I'll be ready in a couple minutes. So
okay, you're going to be ready. Absolutely wonderful. We're happy to wait. So I'll just talk about, I guess, the idea of the audience and who we would like to inspire. I'm thinking that is there a particular group, in local group, that you think where you think you may inspire specific people, you know, not a specific person, but particular groups of people who you think you may be able to inspire? And what I'm thinking about here is, you know, who do we partner with? Who do we send our collages to? Do we send them to the Boys and Girls Club? You know, where do we send our collective story? So what is our outreach going to be? Do you all have in mind a couple places where we might want to share this story? Or any ideas of different things that we may be able to do with our stories? Do you have any ideas? So now that you've, you know, listened and learned and you know a little bit about this theory and what we're doing, do you have any ideas of how we can take this to the next level? Eastern Panhandle Empowerment Center, absolutely, yes. Seeding Your Future Initiative, CITL, Cecilia, yes, yes. And so the Martinsburg Initiative, okay. And as I'm saying these, do you have any ideas about maybe how we can use them, just different ways to use them in different audiences? So those are very great groups. The Martinsburg Initiative, I'm involved with them. Curriculum developers.
Would it be a good
Absolutely.
idea to also provide some kind of script with a collage or with our, you know, pictures?
Mm-hmm. So the idea, going back, was to use one of the models. So either what is your overall empowerment story about, or what are some key words, or is there one particular inspiration, you know, in one of the images that you would want to, like a quote or something that you would want to attach to the image. So it can be just overall words that you use, or an overall theme, or something inspiring, something inspirational about the collage that you believe stands out. So I will put that, whatever that is, with your collage or with your story. So there are different ways that you may want to represent yourself. You may not want to share that intimate, you know, story about it, but pictures speak 1,000 words. So, you know, and I think, you know, for me, I think this is kind of a fun activity to do with a friend or whatever, because we saw really that we got the most out of the pictures when other people kind of looked at it to see, you know, how is this picture actually inspirational, or what do we actually get from it? I think maybe this might be a great empowerment activity for some teachers to do in the classroom with students, perhaps as an icebreaker, bring in a couple pictures and figure out something empowering or something where you can enhance. Because one of the ideas, again, even though we're trying to get people together and to create, an inclusive story, and hopefully, those people who submit a collage, hopefully we can all, I will solicit you for us to work on something special together. So I am telling you right now, you're going to submit this collage, but I'm going to be thinking about something that we can do to make a difference. I want you to be a part of an empowerment team. I know you logged on here for something. It won't be asking too much of you. I try not to ask too much of somebody, but I probably will come up with something special that we can do with these pictures for some of these groups or for someone that we have listed here. Because I believe, go ahead. No, come on. It's okay. No? Okay. Whenever you're ready. Sister Cheryl, are you almost done? Or you need a little bit more time? You're muted.
Yeah, I said I'm done. But I'll share my collage.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm in there. Oh.
All right. So top left, I'm a member of the Lions Club in Shepherdstown. And so through the Lions Club, we do very passionate public service activities in the community. It's empowering for us to do it as a group, and it empowers each member knowing that they're out there helping somebody else. So to the right of that picture is some of that activity that goes on. For the past maybe 3 or 4 months, the Lions has been participating with other organizations in the area to distribute food boxes to those folks who need nourishment. And during this time, not just the pandemic itself, but with people, not being employed for whatever reasons. And so I think that that's something that Lions does, tells a story that empowers me too, to know that I'm out there helping other people. So still going to the right, dogs. Okay, so one of those dogs is mine and the other is a friend of mine, but that's what we do for fun, is we go over on Shepherd University's campus or anywhere where there's a field. We go to dog parks, we go places like that to get much enjoyment out of seeing all the other dogs and wagging their tails, but also seeing all the other people who are out there at the same time enjoying our dogs as much as we are. Bottom left, family. Of course, your family, it does empower you to do many things. This is a selfie, so that's why the information is backwards. But everybody in my family for Christmas in this particular picture got the same gift. So as someone was opening a gift, it's like, oh man, that's such a nice gift. Oh man, where'd you get that? And then as we each opened our gift, we all had one of those gifts from someone else in the family. And then to the right, I don't recognize the friend on the left, but in the middle, I'm there. And then we have another friend on the right, but no, that's Quita. So that's sisterhood as you describe it. And we're always trying to find each other, and we're smiling. So we find lots of joy in that. So there you go. That's my collage. I'm on the computer, so I did download Canva, but I wasn't able to download Canva, I guess, that quickly on my computer and to get those pictures off that quick. So this is just a regular screenshot.
Thank you.
There you
Thank
go.
you so much for sharing that story. That's a wonderful story.
Yeah.
So hopefully, the idea behind this workshop was to get us to, number one, understand that there are two sociological theories that we're dealing with here. One, where we're able to open our eyes and pay close attention to the experiences of the people who are around us. And so we practice that. You may not notice how much you practiced it, but I'm looking here and we have at least 45 words in the chat where people engaged looking at someone else's experience and stopping for a moment and engaging that experience. So we were practicing looking at personal experiences and using them to understand their greater impact on society or on the world as a whole, right? And so we are talking about looking at different audiences. We're talking about empowering different audiences. We're talking about taking our stories and using those stories in a way that they can uplift others. So the difference between the personal is political and its historical context is that the personal is political is looking at someone experiencing hardship and then showing how there are institutional challenges in society that keep those hardships going. We are the leaders. We are the future. We are next. So as we engage and learn how to look closely at things, we're going to pay attention to the good and we're going to pay attention to the things that may be a challenge. And we're going to adjust our eyes and we're going to focus our eyes so that we can see these things. You don't only see these things about other people, you also learn to take the time to see these things about yourselves. And we can see that sometimes for us, we are so harder on ourselves than other people are. Sometimes we are our worst enemies, right? Because we're going to dissect every single thing that it is that we are going through. And so I want you to think about the symbolic interactionism theory and think about how you can empower yourself from the inside and out. And we used photos to do that. We learned about Zoom. We learned how to be in our screens, you know, to be here and to think about the lighting being in front of us or being behind us rather than being behind us. We learned how to, if we have the capacity with our technology, to change the lighting or to adjust the lighting so that, you know, we can show ourselves and show our faces, our beautiful faces and our eyes and our bodies to communicate the language that we need to communicate. I would love for you to send me an email with your collage image. I'm putting my email in the chat. What I'm also going to put in the chat is the wrong number. Sorry. That's funny. Is my cell number. So that's my cell phone number. So if you need to be empowered, if you need to be uplifted, or if you need someone to talk to about something that is challenging, I nominate myself. I nominate myself as an accountability partner because we need to have teams. We need to be able to work together. And I would like you all to be on my team because I want to look at personal but political experiences. And I want to do something about these things in the community. You received a tool today that I know you already have, your ability to have insight and to think critically about things. But we did something special. We looked at something. It was a symbol. It was a picture. But that also can happen if you think outside of the box and you look at a situation or an individual. And we broke it down in quadrants. And we assessed something about each of those areas and we evaluated those things and we thought about meaning, we thought about interpreting things. And then we were able to use that to create a bigger picture or a bigger understanding. You have no idea what we just did today. You thought we were just working with pictures and talking about empowerment stories, but you actually learned to dissect and look at something and take something deeper into another level and to analyze it and to look at little pieces of it and to try to make sense of what those things mean. And that's what we have to do when we're looking at the struggles and challenges of people who exist in society. We have to be able to look at things from multiple perspectives, multiple angles. We have to be able to create symbols and understand what those things around people, what those things mean. And so we worked on skill development. I didn't mean to trick you by using symbols and pictures, but I do that sometimes when I'm teaching a class, you know, because sometimes if I told you, let's look at a complex situation and let's create quadrants and meaning and dissect it using a sociological perspective, if it wasn't with something fun like pictures, then maybe some of you wouldn't have given it your all, but maybe you would have. But we learned a lot of skills today, and I want you to take some time to really reflect and think about the things that we talked about and the things that we learned, and understand that everything that we gain, every bit of knowledge that we gain is useful in more than one way. Useful in more than one way. And so now you have an empowerment tool, okay? This is recorded. I'm going to have a link that I give out with a chart from the different workshops and the recordings for the charts. Join us, please join us on this Thursday for Wendy Baraka so that you can turn off your screen if you want and practice some of the meditations. I'm going to tell you a secret. The last time she told me to look at a spot on the ceiling and I fell asleep for 15 minutes. You know, the thing is, you know, sometimes we need that, you know, sometimes we need a break, but join in with us as we engage in mindfulness. And she always has a wonderful message. She is so calming and she just helps you to center yourself and to engage. And then following that, we're going to have a professor, an amazing professor from the University of West Indies, who's going to use theater to help us engage our bodies in communication and understanding about social justice and how we communicate that with our bodies, right? How we do that. And then after that, we're going to have a poetry workshop. And then the last bang is going to be this leadership workshop that I know you're going to want to attend, because the people who are going to be speaking, they excite me every time I hear them. Every time I hear them, I want more, I want more, I want more. And so all of these people are going to be talking at the same time. Now, everyone who's here, if you could do me just a small favor, I need you to do this for me. Put your email address in this chat for me, please. So everyone here who's here right now, take 1 second for me and put your email address in the chat. Please put that in the chat for me. I would really appreciate that. And so I can keep you posted. I can make sure that you have these videos. I can contact you and communicate with you. Please put your information in the chat. I won't abuse your email, I promise. I promise, I promise, I promise. I hope you had a wonderful time this evening. I have enjoyed you. Thank you for communicating in the chat. Thank you for being brave enough to be here as I tried to do something new, you know, spending your time with me. Your time is so valuable and so important to me. So thank you for being involved in this workshop and the use of these two very different theories to create social justice movement and interpersonal incentives, and also empowerment, and also a way to look at and dissect realities and to think critically about the things that you see and to make them relevant, to force yourself to focus on things and to look at things from multiple angles. These skills are so important for leaders, so very important for leaders. And I know you got it. I know you did, right? If you have any questions for me, place them in the chat. Feel free to stick around and talk for a few minutes after. I'm right here. I'm here for you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
everybody.
And with this, yeah, I'm gonna spotlight the both of us. Thank you again. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please email me your collage pictures. I would appreciate that. I want to do something special for someone. Martinsburg Initiative, the Empowerment Center, Boys and Girls Club, our partners. Let's empower someone. Let's do it together. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you.
Did you need me for any longer?
Hannah, you were great.
Absolutely. I'm opening it up for everybody to talk now. I'm actually going to get off of the spotlight here, and I'm just going to open this up for us to communicate. I'm going to stop the recording.